So now it's actually Friday the 10th of February. I filmed this last night after I saw Kong Skull Island at the Odeon Cinemas in IMAX 3D. So the general synopsis of the film is about a team of explorers and soldiers who travel to an uncharted island in the South Pacific, which is organised by John Goodman as he claims he wants to find out what is on this island. And basically he leads them all to this island where they find all these monsters that are much, much bigger than they are.
Is that a monkey?
So in typical Sean nature, I do not like to give too much away about a film, so to keep it very subtle and low key. After the humans first piss off Kong, that guy, they are separated into two teams. The explorers on one team who just want to respect Kong and they just want to leave the island. And on the other team are the soldiers who are led by Sam Jackson, and these just want to destroy Kong. And I think this is what I like, because it was an ensemble movie where like no lead character took priority over the other ones. They were all kind of on the same level really. Even Kong was on their level, not height level, you know, but he's bigger than them. I suppose that one of the most likeable characters that stood out was John C. Reilly. He was just really, really funny. He had some really funny lines, and you just rooting for him to get off the island. And I can't say why you want him to get off the island, but if you go and see it, you'll find out for yourself. And judging by the audience's reactions, you can see that everyone else liked him too. It wasn't just me, everyone seemed to really like him and was quite amused by the guy. What I also liked about it is that it had this like really 1970s Vietnam War movie about it. And it had 1970s songs chucked in there. And I guess it has been kind of made like a Vietnam movie, because it's still America going to war in the 1970s, only this time they're not going to Vietnam. This time it's a war against Kong and Skull Island. So I think if you like Vietnam movies, there's my phone. So I think if you like your Vietnam movies, you are going to like this one, because it does have that massive feel to it. Now before I went in, one of the Odeon staff members, he said to me that seeing it in IMAX is the best way to see it, and I will honestly say this is just so true. You actually really need to see this on the big screen. You need to see it in IMAX because everything in the film is just so big. The monkey, he's really big, the spiders are big, and apparently the ants are big too, but you never actually get to see these. You just hear they're really big. It's us humans that are the size of insects in this film. And I think the movie does really make you feel like you're that small as well. It just feels like you're in this world where everything's just so massive. Well, I feel like that most of the time anyway, because I'm not that big really. The 3D really helped in this movie too. I do feel like this movie was like specifically shot for 3D, and I feel like that some of the shots were really cleverly composed to add so much more depth to them. Like there was almost always an object or a person that was almost like it felt like they were there in the cinema with you, and the rest of it was just so distant behind them. Although I will say that The Great Wall was still the best 3D film I've seen this year, because that's the film that made me flinch from the 3D. Kong didn't quite do that, but you know, hopefully there's going to be some more coming up this year. So the little things that intrigued me about this movie, the titles. So the opening IMAX titles, which you get before any IMAX film, it's saying IMAX is really great, all this sort of stuff, but it was actually done to the Kong theme this time. It wasn't your standard IMAX titles, which I think was a really good idea. Obviously, probably from Warner Brothers. I think it's a really great idea. It really brings you into the movie before the opening titles start. The next load of titles I liked were the opening titles done this really cool thing where they would come up like it was showing like all this news footage like from the 60s and 70s, and it would come up with a date for probably a split second, which would like transform into someone's name or like a cast member or a crew member. It's just really cleverly done, and that was also in 3D as well. And in the first like maybe 15-20 minutes there was these location stamps when they were somewhere else in the world, like it would come up with Vietnam or Bangkok, but the titles just looked so great on the screen. And again, it was just they were 3D titles, and it wasn't like your generic like location stamps in the movie. They had this really nice look about them. I just really felt the titles in this film were really good, and even the end credits, they looked really awesome as well. And so on that note, it might be worth mentioning that I was also told by the Odeon staff member that it's worth staying after the end credits, and I'm going to give you the same warning and say there is something after the end credits, so if you like those sort of things, stick around for it. But the end credits are quite long, and although these end credits look really good in 3D, I'm not sure if it's worth staying for the thing that happens after the end credits. I mean, I wasn't that thrilled by it, to be honest, but if you don't mind sitting through like 5 minutes of credits and you want to see this little bit at the end, and yeah, obviously it's a bit of a wait, but you know, if you like those things, just stick around for it. You know, bring a sandwich or something, or you know, help the Odeon clear up or something. Bring a black bag and a dustpan and brush. So compared to 2005's Peter Jackson's King Kong, I do prefer Skull Island. I felt the 2005 one was just, it was a bit slow, it took too long to get going, and it was obviously very, very long as well. But this new 2017 version, it's much more punchier, it's got a better pace to it. I think it's just like much more visually entertaining as well. I know back then they just started with the CGI monkeys, but I think obviously like now, what's it, like 12 years later, they seem to have mastered it really well, and I think everyone's doing it these days, aren't they? Because it seems this won't be our last ape movie this year, because obviously this July we've got War for the Planet of the Apes coming out as well. We are really liking our monkeys in 2017. But before the summer, do come back next week for another trailer and your fortnightly competition. Have a great weekend, everyone. Peace out, people.
It's a good group of boys. We're all gonna die together out here. You shouldn't have come here.